Hi everyone. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time and well, finally made it. I'm gonna go kinda in order and talk about all video games first and then move on to consoles, controllers, books, manga, amiibos and that stuff. I hope you enjoy watching this. I had a lot of fun making it at least. Cheers. Like I said, I'm gonna start with the games first. And of course, first up is the original The Legend of Zelda. This particular cartridge I bought few months ago, but I did own it as a kid. To be honest, I don't quite remember where the hell I lost the original copy I had of the game. Oh well, had to get it back and here it is. Awesome game, haven't completed it in a while. Now this bad boy. Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link is actually my first ever video game ever played. I played it at my grandpa's house when I was 5 years old, back in 1995. Kinda funny introduction to video games, considering this is usually the somewhat hated Zelda game. I honestly think it's a great game. Challenging, for sure. Also, my opinion might be a bit biased, since I have special memories of the game. Also, this is the original cartridge I used to play as a kid. Alright, shooting the big guns early on. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is easily my favorite Zelda game and the best game ever made in my opinion. I've completed this hundreds of times and I remember the game 100% when playing it. This game pretty much defined the whole gaming for me and made me a quote true gamer. I recently posted a 3-part video of a run through. Anyway, this cartridge and of course the box, manual and the map are all originals from my childhood. The map is a bit beaten, that's kinda sad to be honest. Oh, and I had to replace the battery on this too recently. I actually uploaded that on YouTube too. Here is also the Super Famicom version of the game. Our local game pub had annual flea market for used games and I brought it from there last year. Can't play it, but I wanted it since it's my favorite game. Might go for the US cartridge too someday to have all different Super Nintendo versions. Next up is The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Or well, in my case, it's the Game Boy Color DX version of the game. Haven't beaten this in years. Not really playing Game Boy anymore, but I did manage to snatch Game Boy Player for my GameCube, so this might be on my list to play again this year. And if someone is wondering, no, I don't have the original boot disc. I got the unit from Japan and just got the SD media launcher to boot it with that. Also, since it's kinda the same stuff here is Link's Awakening remake. Showing this reminded me of the upcoming game since it's the same art style. Going to be awesome to play as Zelda finally. Been waiting for that stuff for years. And yes, we are getting to Hyrule Warriors in a bit. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Now I'm gonna throw in a hot take since so many people say it's their favorite game. Best Zelda. The best game ever made. Let's be real, that title belongs to A Link to the Past. But yeah, honestly, Ocarina of Time is not even on my top 5. And don't get me wrong, this game, like all the rest in the franchise, is fucking awesome. But there are, quote, better ones. Also, this Nintendo 64 cartridge I'm showing, I bought from Japan last year. I never had Nintendo 64 as a kid. I'm glad that's fixed as an adult, but I had other versions of the game to be able to play. More of that later. Also, I used to borrow my PlayStation 1 to my friend and he gave me his Nintendo 64 in exchange, with games of course. The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. Maybe another hot take right after Ocarina of Time, but Majora's Mask is my second or third favorite Zelda game depending on my mood. Always at top 3 anyway. This particular cartridge is from the same shop in Akihabara as my Ocarina of Time. Also bought it last year in Japan. Alright, why Majora's Mask is so good? It's a fucking wild game with some weird as fuck characters, and the tone is very dark in the game, but kinda funny also, gotta love that. One last piece about this game. Here is the manual I have for it. I have no idea where I got it, but I've had it for years. Oh my, The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. I played these games so much as a teen, and for real, I don't know if I was fucking stupid or what, but it took me so long to figure some of the puzzles in these games, like getting through the forest mess in Oracle of Seasons or Jabu Jabu's belly in Ages. But these games got me through some tough times as a teen, and I loved them even more for it. Maybe that is the reason these two games are bundled as slot 5 of my top 5 Zelda games. Also, here are the manuals of these games. I was smart enough to keep them. And also, I bought Japanese versions of both games from Akihabara 2 last year. Next up, we have The Legend of Zelda Four Swords. I honestly don't have much to talk about this game. I have never played it. This cartridge I'm showing right now, I got like 3 weeks ago, and I don't think it's even original. But anyway, I thought fuck it, I'll get a copy just for the sake of having it. I always wanted to play this, but since it was multiplayer and everyone needed a copy, it was a bit too much investment for a 13-year-old kid. Oh, also, I recently saw it drop on Switch Online. Now I need a friend with Switch and subscription to play it finally. The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. I recently did a 100% playthrough on my GameCube. It was too many years since I last beat it, and I think the last time I did it was the HD version on Wii U. That HD version is so much better, by the way. I think there is no one arguing against that. Like the whole in the gallery stuff is much more simple and not so tedious to do in the HD version. Also, this game ranks up to my top 4 of my top 5 Zelda games. Do we already have 4 on the list? Or I guess there is 5 already because of Seasons and Ages. Why do I like it so much? I guess it's the overall style, tone, music and everything. It really feels like you are on an adventure and exploring new places. The story is good, the ending is one of the best. Dude just slams Master Sword in Ganondorf's fucking head. Also, the king just telling you to find your own new land and floods the old kingdom. It's crazy. Oh, check this out too. It's the limited edition that was sold with GameCube, or at least it was in Finland. This one has Ocarina of Time and Ocarina of Time Master Quest. This was one of the ways I could play Ocarina of Time even though I didn't own a Nintendo 64 back in the day. Only downside for the bundle / limited edition stuff is I really would wanted Nintendo to make the console special too, since it was a Zelda package. I'm gonna throw the Legend of Zelda, the Collector's Edition now, even though it's not the mainline title. But do I have a story about this one? Well, kinda 2 stories, I guess, with some branching lines. Anyway, so this Collector's Edition came out in 2003 in Finland. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let's go on with the story. I was 13 or 14 years old at the time. I believe they only sold this game bundled with GameCubes and gave them as prizes or some shit. That's why it was so hard to get as a kid. I myself saw it in a magazine and they had a competition for it. Send a message, answer some questions and maybe win this fucker. Little did I know the messages costed so fucking much, and I sent like 10 to 15 of them. I got yelled at by my parents for a good reason, I think. Anyway, a side story. The magazine, if I remember right, was called Tilt, like a game tilting. Anyway, big name for the company was this woman, Jaana Pelkonen. She was the host of Conter's show. Saw her once in a game convention, took a picture with her. Oh my. Anyway, there was this Finnish rapper too, called Petri Nygård. I remember an article a few years back where his music was studied to be Finland's most sexist lyrics. You'll see why in a second. He had these lyrics in one song and they went like this.
Haluan panna Jana pelkosta niin, että tilttaan.
Loosely translating to tilt, like the magazine. I don't know, that stuff always stuck to me. It's sexist and stupid as fuck and I have no idea why I just told this, but let's try and focus on how I got the game back in the day. So, how I actually managed to get this game as a kid then. My friend at the time lived on the other side of the suburbs from me. Back then we already had mobile phones, but for some reason one day he didn't answer, or for some reason I walked all the way to his house and rang his doorbell to see if he's home. His mother's boyfriend, man friend, whatever, answered the door and was like, yeah, my friend is not home. This dude was from Netherlands, by the way. For some reason we started talking about video games and he told me his nephew is here all the way from Netherlands and they are playing this game called Collector's Edition. My heart started racing immediately. I was like, no fucking way they have it. I was trying to hide my excitement and asked if I can check what they are playing and he invited me over. I saw the game and holy fucking shit, it was the real deal. I started to casually ask how they got it and try to get a feel if I somehow could get the game. I was down bad with Zelda stuff as a kid already. Surprisingly, they told me they only played the Wind Waker demo. Like bro, you got some fucking gems in that disc. There is 4 games in it. I was already thinking about trading my Wind Waker but didn't want to do it honestly. We got into talking and this guy was like, well, you could buy it from us for 30 euros, so he can buy the Wind Waker for his nephew. And I was like, sure, that works. I'm like, I go home, get the money and come right back like 1 hour max. And they agree. Holy fuck, I run like hell to the other side of the fucking town, get the money and run as fast as I can back. I feared like I'm gonna lose the game or nothing shit or they changed their mind or something. I got to their place, gave the fucking money, got the game, they were waiting with it of course. I ran back home again so nothing could happen to the game while I'm out, for whatever reason. This is starting to sound like a schizophrenic episode by the way. And here is the game, still in my hands, holy fuck. And well, yeah, this was also a way to play all these games since again I lost my original The Legend of Zelda. For some time I didn't have 8-bit to play the Zelda 2 and like I said before I never had Nintendo 64 to play Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Next up, The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures. Now this one I could play solo unlike 4 Swords, and I had a friend with Game Boy Advance so we could play multiplayer too. We used to fuck each other over at the end of the level, like I was trying to progress, but my friend didn't go to the spot to move on and instead released one of those enemies that chase you. Don't remember what exactly it was, but oh well, good times. The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. Absolutely love this game. It's actually the last handheld game I played. More of that later. Took me so long to find all those Kinstone fusions. Like for real, I think I walked over the map multiple times looking for the last one, it was crazy. I should play this sooner rather than later again. It's been too many years. And now with the Game Boy player I can also record the playthrough and well, play from TV of course. Here is the manual also, still got it. The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. Honestly, this is the game that I would like to fit on the top 5 of Zelda games, but there are not enough spots and it makes me sad. This game is super. I also have it on my list to play soon. I'm going to bundle the Legend of Zelda, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks together to save some time. Like I said on Minish Cap, I stopped playing handhelds after that and never got a DS back in the day. I was a bit annoyed when these games came out because I had no means to play them. Well, now I have the Japanese versions of the game. Still no DS through. Alright, I got these from eBay. They were bundled and sold together. I was thinking of making this video and started going through all my stuff and noticed these are the only few mainline titles I'm still missing, so wanted to buy them just to be able to say I got them all. I've also been looking at DS prices and how to be able to make them region free and also how to record stuff from them, but we'll see if I'm able to play these two someday. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Best story in any Zelda game, hands down. I just love to see like the origins of everything and how everything started. Sure, the controls were a bit wonky at times. I played this Wii version on my Wii U. Here is the HD version on Switch. Nintendo was like, alright, yeah, the controls were kinda shit, so here is a version you can play on your regular controller. Again, I'm going to do a bundle here for the same reason as I did with Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes. I'm not going to go on explaining everything I did with Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks again. The same reasons I didn't play these apply here, and I'm looking into experiencing these two. What I'm gonna say about these games through is A Link Between Worlds. I've heard it's an awesome game and generally very liked, but is that really a surprise since it's based on the best game ever made, right? And why the fuck is Triforce Heroes spelled Triforce? Like, dude, really? Also, that game looks weird with all the dress up and stuff. Would be fun to play it, maybe someday. I got these two games like a month ago. They are brand new, as you can see they are still sealed. Sure, I could hold on to them for the next 50 years and they might be worth something, but honestly, if I get a DS someday, I'm going to play these. I like to collect Zelda stuff, but I'm not gonna want all these great games collecting dust when I can enjoy them. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Damn, this game just blew Zelda into a new age. This game invigorated the whole franchise so much, and for me it just jumped straight into my top 3 of Zelda games, but I'm not going to just yet call the spot since there is still one title coming that needs to be on this conversation. Oh, did you notice? It's the Wii U version. Oh god, here is the better Switch version. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now let's talk about the top 3 spot. Like I said, depending on my mood, Majora's Mask is the second or third of my top 3 Zelda games. Well, it's Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom that's it up against. And yes, I am bundling these two games together, since Tears of the Kingdom is in a way the same stuff as Breath of the Wild. Also, as much as I love all these games, I want to call out one issue about the story in this game. Why the heck did they put the same fucking cutscene on the first 4 Guardians? That was stupid. Other than that, great fucking game. And the last boss, holy shit. First Ganondorf's health bar just going and going, then he turns into a fucking dragon, and at the end it's a fucking nuclear explosion. Great stuff. Let's see what that top 5 Zelda games from me look like. Yep. Looks about right. Now let's move on to the spin-off games, and let me say first, I don't have the CDI games, but in a weird fucked up way I would love to own them and play them just to see what the fuck was going on. I've looked into the prices of those games and I'm going to be honest again, not gonna pay that much on shit. Also, before we move on, now that we went through all the mainline titles, I believe I own every single mainline Zelda title in at least some version, I think. I know there are like the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D versions and such, but they are still essentially the mainline titles with some tweaks. Hyrule Warriors. First spin-off I got. I honestly bought it just to be able to play as Zelda, and it's great to do so. I wish Nintendo made her playable sooner, and only argument against Echoes of Wisdom is I would love to be able to use more weapons as Zelda. Well, of course we don't know yet what is up her sleeves, but like in this game she has a rapier and holy powers. She feels powerful. Well, she is powerful, let it be shown. I'm still going to play the fuck out of Echoes of Wisdom, don't get me wrong. There was a new trailer of Echoes of Wisdom and it shows much more. Still wish Zelda would have at least a rapier, but still with only the magical abilities. The game looks very good. And damn, expanding the A Link to the Past map, that sold it to me really. Can't go wrong referencing the best game ever made. Oh, here is the definitive edition on Switch 2, so I guess this was a good game, since I had to buy 2 versions of it. Now Nintendo knew Hyrule Warriors was good, since they had to make a better one. This game I enjoyed very much, and to have Zelda as a main character and not even call the game The Legend of Zelda. Nice one, Nintendo. Good thing you fixed it now. Cadence of Hyrule. This game, because nowadays I try to get everything that is even slightly Zelda. I of course got this from the eShop. I suck at rhythm games, but here we are, I did it. Now this I think covers all the video games I have. Let's move on to all the different kind of consoles, controllers and other media. First up, let me show you the Zelda Game & Watch. It's still sealed. This is like the only thing I have I was going to left sealed. But I don't think this is going to be rare or anything for a long time. I see this shit sold in my general game store still. Now here is my Game Boy Advance SP Limited Zelda Edition. I think this special edition was sold with the miniscap. Actually I did some Google research for the origins and it seems it was only sold in Europe and Australia. That's weird. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Anyway, I think I'm lucky to have this one. Next up, Zelda Wii U gamepad. I believe this game when you bought the Wind Waker HD Wii U bundle, am I right? The console itself was just black with nothing special, but it was nice that the gamepad at least had something going on with it. Next up, my Zelda Joy-Cons for the Switch. This was kind of funny, I noticed these are going to be released and I brought them so fast thinking they are gonna be sold out in a heartbeat, only to see them in a market for so long after. Now I think there is no retailer selling new ones anymore, but I might be wrong of course. Zelda Monopoly. What can I say? It's a Monopoly with Zelda theme. I've played it a couple of times. Through this, no one really likes to play Monopoly for some reason. I just would love to play it because it's Zelda. Also, I know there is a Link to the Past board game too, released in the early 90s. That shit would be so awesome to get, but I'm gonna be realistic. I don't think I will ever have one, but would be super cool. Here are all the books. I think I have all of them, even the manga. And speaking of manga, yes, I have seen the cartoon too. That shit is funny as fuck. Now let's move on to amiibos. I know there are a shit ton of Zelda amiibos, and I sure as hell am not gonna get all of them. But early on I wanted at least some of them, and going with the main trio was enough for me. Well, there is 2 versions of Link and Sheik is there too, so I guess I went just a little over with the trio. This is not an official item, but want to show it quick. My friend 3D printed this for me. It's a small piece and a nice thing to have on the shelf. Next up, let's start with this puzzle. Just a map of Hyrule. Also, here are paintings my wife made for me a few years ago. They are awesome. Now, here are some collector's edition stuff I kept. I'm sure a lot of people have these since they are so new. Last thing, As I am a huge Zelda fan, all my tattoos are from Zelda, and I think they will always be only about Zelda. First up, I have Hylian crest on my back, my first tattoo. Then it's Triforce with the goddess's symbols on my left arm, like Link has it on left arm as well. Third, I got Sheikah's symbol on my right hand, and my newest is Song of Healing on my right leg. I have 4 more tattoos on plan still, or well, at least for now it's only 4. I want Master Sword on my right leg with Triforce and some deep forest plants, like the Master Sword resting in Lost Woods. Majora's Mask on my left leg, Song of Time also on my left leg, and lastly Gerudo symbol on my left arm. This is everything Zelda related I have myself. Well, there are a bunch of t-shirts that have pictures of Link and such, but that's a different thing. And to be honest, I have never had this stuff in one place like this. I'm quite happy what I have managed to collect the past 30 years. Also, I have a chocolate calendar from Pokemon and Super Mario. If someone knows where the fuck I can get a Zelda-themed chocolate calendar, please let me know. I really want that to have like the Triforce of calendars. Alright, there it is. When I started planning this video, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a quick showdown of all the stuff. Then I started to list everything I have and was like, holy fuck, there's like 50 different things to talk about. And finally, when I started writing the script, I realized that this is not going to be a fast video. Oh well, if you made it this far, I hope you liked it, and thanks for watching. Cheers. Oh, by the way, if you want to share your favorite Zelda games, put them in the comments. I always like to hear what Zelda games others like most and why. Alright, now I'm done. Thanks.